Today I fucked up by forgetting to attend a wedding. A couple years ago we got new next-door neighbors. We have 2 little boys and our youngest son is 9 months older than their son. Our kids have so much fun playing together, and they really are such a nice family. We are always friendly, but we have super busy lives, so most of the relationship is with the kiddos. They invited us to their wedding, to which we responded yes for the 4 of us. I woke up this morning to social media posts congratulating them on their wedding, and she updated her last name. It dawns on me, we were supposed to be there and had completely forgotten all about it. I never added it to our calendar. I found the invite on the fridge hidden behind a bunch of kids' artwork. There it was in black and white. Wedding date Friday the 13th. How did I forget that date? All I can picture is a half-empty table where my family was supposed to sit. Everyone remembers those people from their weddings. I feel like the biggest jerk ever. Too long did not read. One of my longtime friends forgot to attend my wedding. When, afterwards, another friend asked him where he was, he realized that he had totally spaced. I couldn't be mad. Invitations are sent out so long in advance and it's easy to forget. He was very apologetic, we laughed about it, he gave us a nice gift, and we're still friends. These things happen. You are a bit of a jerk, but probably a sincere apology and maybe a nice wedding gift will smooth it over. If you don't apologize soon, it will just grow awkward and the relationship will die. Apologizing now might turn it into a funny story you tell in X amount of time. That's not how a too long did not read works, bud. You are supposed to summarize the post after typing too long did not read. Today I fucked up by glancing at my boyfriend's phone while out to dinner. This just happened last night. I was out to dinner with my boyfriend and before the server took our order, I went to the bathroom. When I got back to sit down, my boyfriend's phone was open on the table and I happened to notice a message from someone with red hearts. I honestly at first thought nothing of it. I wasn't even trying to look at his phone, it just happened to be right there. I'm not a jealous person, he's never given me any reason to think he's cheating and we have a very healthy relationship. I do however struggle with intrusive thoughts and trauma from people burning me in the past. I've been in therapy and I've made a lot of progress and haven't had any major episodes in a long time. But when my boyfriend immediately picked up his phone and says, "I have to text my boss real quick," I started to panic. I tried to tell myself I was being irrational. He literally could have had to text his boss and just remembered at that moment and the hearts could have been from his mom for all I know. So I told myself to let it go because like I said, he's never given me a reason to doubt him and we've always had a very trusting relationship. But for some reason every single thing he said and did after that sent me into a spiral. I started rapidly switching between thinking I was being irrational for no reason whatsoever to thinking he's secretly a narcissist. Eventually it got to the point where I was on the verge of tears. And not because I genuinely thought he was cheating on me, but because I could feel myself spiraling and it was upsetting considering I hadn't had an episode like this in years. I didn't want to say anything to him cause I felt stupid, but knew if I didn't talk to him about it, it was going to eat me up inside, regardless of how irrational I knew my thinking was. So I told him what I saw and how I was feeling and he immediately grabbed his phone and showed me every person he's talked to today, but it turned out that the hearts were actually on a text from me. Before I went to the bathroom I had texted him my order so that he could tell the server if he came while I was gone, which I completely forgot about. Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. I apologized 100 times and told him I truly didn't think he was cheating, but I definitely let the intrusive thoughts win that time. He wasn't upset and we laughed about it and had a great rest our night. Too long did not read. I glanced over at my boyfriend's phone and saw hearts and thought he might have been texting another girl only to find out that the hearts were from me. Had me in the first half, not gonna lie. Hang on to him. So I told him what I saw and how I was feeling and he immediately grabbed his phone and showed me every person he's talked to today. This right here. So many people would get pissed and talk about privacy and trust and blah blah blah. This man immediately validated your feelings and gave you reassurance. Sounds like a keeper to me. Does he have a sister? At the end of a date once my ex asked me if he could talk to me. He told me he realized he was probably being irrational, but he needed to ask, and then he proceeded to ask me if I had been on Tinder at the beginning of our date. I was using an app that I communicate with my family in the Middle East on and at a quick glance I could see why he could have thought it was Tinder. We got a good laugh over the idea of me brazenly going on Tinder while on a date with my boyfriend. Tears of joy. Today I fucked up by letting my partner use my car. My partner's car broke down, so we've been sharing mine. My car's battery has been failing me for the last couple of weeks, and someone suggested it was because of the fuel pump since it often needs a boost after putting gas in, so I haven't gotten a new battery. My partner started turning off my automatic lights as he thought that it would drain the battery because the lights don't turn off immediately when you take the key out. I asked him to leave the lights alone because I have been driving it with auto set for years, and I didn't want to forget to turn them on and end up getting pulled over for it. Cue to tonight. He takes the car to go to work, turns the lights off to put gas in, and forgets to turn them back on. He gets pulled over almost immediately after leaving the gas station. He called me to let me know, and I tried to be as supportive as possible. "No problem, we'll figure it out." Then, he drops the bomb: his license is suspended. Turns out it got suspended from an unpaid ticket, and he didn't get the memo. It's my daughter's birthday party this weekend. My car got impounded, he got 4 tickets, and driving on a suspended license can get you a $1,000 plus fine and/or up to 6 months in jail. So now my transportation to work is gone until I can pay to get it back. My partner had to miss work last night, and he might go to jail a month before I go into labor. The part that bothers me the most is that I knew that turning off the automatic lights would fuck me over, and it did. Too long did not read. My partner got pulled over in my car. His license was suspended, and he's now facing a possible 6-month sentence. I lost my car, and my life got turned upside down from something that I predicted would happen. I'm pretty certain it's not the fuel pump messing up the battery. Sounds like your fuck up here was not replacing the faulty battery. His fuck-ups were getting tickets and not paying them and not turning on his headlights. You didn't fuck up at all though? All of this could have been an honest mistake with an easy fix had your partner being responsible on their end. My life got turned upside down. Time for you to move to Bel Air. Honestly, reading through this and your comments, you are making a lot of excuses for an adult who didn't handle his shit. He's got a kid coming soon. He needs to be an adult and handle his tickets if he gets them, because now you have more trouble. Today I fucked up by not asking her more questions. I tend to tell long stories, so I'll shorten this down a bit for the sake of not giving you guys a multi-book novel to read. A longtime female friend and co-worker, April, invited me to go to a salsa class with her back in August. We do a lot of things together, so I said I'd go. We went to a few classes, but one night she had to bail out at the last minute. I still went to the dancing class, partnered up with a woman named Sade, and had drinks with her following the class. We both had drinks at the bar before going out separate ways. A week later in the next class, April meets Sade, and April makes it clear that me and her are just friends. I invite them both out to drinks. The two girls agree before going to the ladies' room at the dancing class. Upon returning, April states she got a text from a guy she hooks up with and isn't going to have drinks with us, so me and Sade are set up to get drinks together again. When we get to the bar, Sade notices that the drink prices are a bit high and says we should just buy a bottle and head to my place and chat there. Now it's worth noting that until this point, I thought Sade simply wanted company and an ear to chat with, nothing else. We drive to a liquor store to grab our drink of choice before heading to my place. Honestly, at this point I think I'm going to get lucky, just as I think she wants to talk to my without a waiter bothering us or other customers making it difficult to hear each other. Immediately when we get into my place, her heels come off and she starts talking a mile a minute. I immediately think to myself that I'm not getting lucky. I make up drinks and join her on the couch and honestly mostly listen to her talk while occasionally refilling her drink and saying, from what I gathered, she's dating some guy. Her mother is a cat lady. She refuses to watch the last season of Lost, TV show, among many other things. It felt like hours into her monologue that she said, "So you and April are just friend, huh?" Now I'll be honest. There was a long pause as I wasn't sure if it was my turn to talk, nor did I know how we got to that part of the conversation. After probably 30 seconds of silence, I said, "Yeah, I've known her for about 22 years now." Truth be told, I'd shot my shot more times than I could count, but only got as far as a few drunken handsy make-out sessions before being firmly planted in the friend zone. How deep into the friend zone am I? Well, April gave me a gift for Christmas that said, "To my straight gay friend." Yeah, there's no coming back from that. So I confirm that me and April are just friends. Without thinking, my mouth kept moving and said, "Yeah, no. If you weren't dating someone, I'd have made a move by now." This was apparently the green light as Sade took it upon herself to make the first move. After a bit of the horizontal dance, we get dressed and finally this girl is quiet. Well, not quiet, but talking a hell of a lot less. We clean up a bit and after saying goodbye she leaves. A week later Sade is not in class, so me and April partner up. Now April knows fully what happened because apparently her and Sade have been texting. A week after then Sade is back in the class. We greet each other and April pushes me to partner with her and I do and things go well. After class we skip the drinks and go right to my place. Now I'll be honest, the first time we had sex was pretty vanilla, missionary and cowgirl. This second time was still vanilla, but a few more positions were had along with a snack break in between. As we conclude things I ask if this is going to be a weekly thing, and she tell me no because she's free tomorrow. Immediately I think about the guy she's dating and stupid ask about that situation. She tells me it's not serious yet and that he's always busy anyway. We'd hook up a few times a week, each time doing more and more until vanilla sex slowly became evolved into chocolate sex. We'd surpassed the typical things that I'd only really seen in porn films. At one point I remember attempting triple penetration with the help of her toy and a frozen breakfast sausage. Side story time. I'm pretty cool with my boss Bobby. He's in his late 40s and honestly not too bad of a guy, but is definitely a workaholic. We're guys with a construction background, so lewd talk doesn't faze us. Over the past month I ended up telling him about my adventures with Sade, though mostly told him the dirty things she'd done to me or that I'd done to her. I'd purposely selectively exclude the things she's done to me. So every week or so Bobby would encounter me when I was alone and ask for updates. Now it's worth noting that Bobby's wife was apparently not very adventurous in the bedroom. In his words, his wife would rather tug him than give him head even for a moment, and they only had penetrative sex a couple times a month at best. So in his head, he was living vicariously through me. So back to the story, this morning it unexpectedly rained hard and Bobby ended up being drenched. So he called his wife to bring him a change of clothes. Friday mornings are busy so he couldn't just leave and go home. A few minutes later April finds me and says that Sade is at our office. I was confused. While I told Sade what type of work I did, I never said where. So I figured it was a coincidence, so in the scheme of things I wasn't fazed as the only people who knew about me and Sade was April and Bobby didn't even know her by name. But down the hallways I heard her and Bobby talking and having a conversation you wouldn't have with someone you just meet. As I peeked my head around the corner, I saw Sade and Bobby give each other a peck before Sade notices my head peeking around the corner. She immediately leaves and Bobby is a bit confused but brushes it off. I look over at April who has a semi-concerned look on her face and immediately it hits me. Sade is Bobby's wife. In the almost 4 months of us hooking up, it had always been at my place and it never occurred to me to ask about the guy she's been dating. We're supposed to meet up tonight, but honestly I'm not sure if she'll show, and if she does I figure it's going to be a fairly awkward conversation. And #X200B. Too long did not read. I've been unknowingly having very raunchy sex with my boss's wife, while he barely gets anything out of her. April knew the whole time, am I right? No way this is true. No way a woman would shove breakfast sausage in her privates. I tend to tell long stories, so I'll shorten this down a bit for the sake of not giving you guys a multi-book novel to read. Continues to post an entire Bible. And a too long did not read. That's so short it almost doesn't say anything, lol. So April meets Sade for the first time ever at the class, and just coincidentally Sade turned out to be the wife of the guy who is both yours and April's boss? Or, April knew Sade already and never mentioned who she was married to. Aha!